What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here. This is a commentary on soloing the Moon Battleground Heist Grandmaster. I'm using a Dawn Chorus build, and I'll go over the build later in the video more in depth. This is going to be a little different than my previous commentaries because this is actually going to be segmented. I ran this a few times and had some stupid deaths in the boss room, and the run I uploaded yesterday wasn't that smooth. It was pretty slow, so I'm going to be showing off the best parts of this build. So I'll show the segments that kind of went the quickest, and then just talk about each segment of this battleground and how to use the build to its maximum effectiveness. The big things you need to know is Dawn Chorus is really good for giving more damage to your Scorch, and then Polaris Lance is really good at applying Scorch. And this makes explosions, which do wonders in this Grandmaster. So for this opening part, this was one of my earlier runs, and this is pretty smooth. But what I would do here after is, just like that, I would cause an ignition that takes 10 shots, but then I would actually throw out a melee, and that would give me Radiant. And then I would use my machine gun to just burst down the Barrier Knight. So this still works, but it's a little slower, and you can see I let him regen his health, and here is where I throw that Radiant, and you can see my machine gun has anti-barrier. So it wasn't the smoothest, but again, I ran this probably a dozen times until I actually got the clear, because I did just keep dying to stupid things. I've got enhanced field prep and enhanced incandescent on the machine gun, so that is why I was crouching to reload to improve the reload speed. So yeah, here you just want to deal with the Barrier Knights first if you can. There's a few ways to play this. You can play from here, but sometimes the ads do rotate over. So again, in my just full clear run, I actually go up top and take out the ads from there. So there's a couple different ways you can do this section. It just depends on what you prefer. I've got, I think it's called Ember of Torches, is your melee, gives you Radiant, so that's really nice. And then I get a ton of melee energy due to Dawn Chorus, and also whatever the fragment is that when you defeat Scorch targets, it grants you melee energy. So that is how I'm getting so many melees. And yeah, it's just really, really good on this build. On the, oh yeah, so that wizard died there. The wizard is what spawns the Death Tongue Chorister. I'm not sure exactly what killed it, some ignition damage or something. So I wasn't quite ready for it, but yeah, once you have that, you just want to pop your super. And then again, in the run I posted of the full clear, I go to the back and slowly take out the ads from the back. But in this run, I wanted to show that you can go to the side. There I missed a Celestial Fire, that was pretty embarrassing. But yeah, you can also go to this side, and the ignitions after this part are a little bit RNG, like on the big wave. But for now, we're just taking out the ads as they come. So you want to focus Barrier Knights, because if you kill too many ads, it will spawn in the next wave of ads, which is another Barrier Knight and the Ogre. So now that that Barrier Knight's dealt with, now we can take out the Wizards and the Thrall. And once we get them done, there you can see we spawn the next wave of ads. There's some Cursed Thrall. And then once we kill those, once we kill all these ads, here comes the Ogre. And then shortly after that Ogre is a Barrier Knight. So if you kill the Ogre, which I believe I do here, see we get a nice ignition off. It only takes 10 shots. It's just 2 procs of the Polaris Lance Perfect Fifth Explosion, because I also have on Ember of Ashes, which applies more Scorch stacks. I'm not sure if it would do the same without that, but being as this build is all about stacking Scorch and getting ignitions, then you definitely want to run that. I'll have the dim build in the description of this video, and I'll also make a detailed build video on it, hopefully for the weekend. So anyways, we dealt with that Barrier Knight, so now we're just trying to proc ignitions on these enemies. So one of the 2 ogres, as long as you hit 5 crits twice, then you'll get the proc. Here we go. And now watch all the explosions. you can see we get kind of 2 different procs of ignitions, and then they just keep igniting over and over on the left there. So this was a really good RNG run, which is why I wanted to show this segment, because we get a lot of ignitions. So now, same thing, we want to deal with the Barrier Knight, because, yeah, now that the boss spawns in, he spawns in with another Barrier Knight. So these Barrier Knights can kind of be annoying sometimes. If you kill that boss before you kill the barrier, I'm not sure, but I think it can affect your platinum. Either way, if you kill the boss before taking out this barrier, that will despawn all the rest of the ads, and then you're moving on to the next section. So always deal with this Barrier Knight first. So there again, I toss out the melee, and you can see my machine gun has anti-barrier rounds. That is why I don't run overload machine gun. And the surge is solar for this week, so you're getting the 25% bonus from the solar surge anyway, so you don't need overload machine gun. And it's really nice being able to chew through ads with your machine gun. So here I'm proccing Sundering Glare, or whatever it's called, Rapid Fire Ranger. So we got a 15% weaken on the boss. You don't even need that though. This super absolutely chunks. Like you can see, we have a ton of throws left. And then that is that opening section. So 5 minutes and 20 seconds. I think that's like 3 minutes better than the run I posted. So it is better, I think, to go to the left than to play far back. But I was trying to get good footage of showing the ignitions. And you could see the damage numbers on this run, but you couldn't see the enemies actually exploding. So that was one reason I did a couple different spots. So this part, we're just transitioning. Abuse your machine gun ammo, because what we do in the next room is you actually want to pick up the crate first. I don't do it in the run that I'll be showcasing, but that is what you want to do, is you want to pick up the ammo first, because you're going to need all the machine gun ammo to take out the barriers from the cheese spot. Sorry, the unstoppables from the cheese spot, so it's really nice to have. So here, we're just abusing our abilities, so we get a quick radiant proc, and then yeah, just use your machine gun, take out the ads. Don't get blown up by a screeb. We still have one more on the left. I pick up that orb to get Solar Surge ×3. You really do want to run Solar Surge ×3, because this build is literally all based around your machine gun spreading Incandescent and Polaris Lance doing lots of damage over time. I have Rapid Fire Ranger and whatever. There's 2 mods. One is Solar, Bow, or Sniper Shots. Landing rapid precision hits with those will give you armor charge if you have less than 2 stacks of armor charge. So that allows us to proc armor charge on itself. And then we have the weaken from Rapid Fire Ranger, or what used to be Sundering Glare. So we can apply a 15% weaken and get a 22% solar buff every time we just land some crits with Polaris Lance or the bow that we have on. This bow is good because it can take out the barriers in just 2 shots, the barrier shields. So that's why I was running that, because again, sometimes you're at range, so I think it's a little better than running an auto rifle. This part's not the smoothest. What I was doing in later runs was I actually throw a grenade to the left to deal with those ads that are over there, and then I take out the chieftain as quickly as I can, and then I just deal with the rest of the ads. And then the important thing for after this part is you want a melee going into the ghost capture room, because there's lurkers in there, and those lurkers have those annoying shields, but the melee will proc radiant, which gives you anti-barrier. You can see I was getting a whole bunch of melee energy there because I'm killing scorched targets. So now I have my melee, which is really good. We're going to proc that, and then it just chews through the lurker shields. So it allows you to take out these lurkers really, really quickly. See, easy, easy, easy. So then, again, what I was doing in later runs and what I would advise is to go pick up your heavy crate now, because I have heavy ammo finder on my helmet. And with all the Polaris Lance kills we're going to be getting, we're going to make more than enough ammo for after this phase. So get your 400 rounds of machine gun ammo off the rip, and then deploy the ghost, and then go hide in this spot. So again, in this run, I don't pick up the ammo, but I do have good champion RNG here. They can spawn out of any doors. So what you want is that door that I'm kind of looking at right now, because you can kind of spawn kill them and proc ignitions. But if they come out from the left door or the middle door, then they just roll up right on the ghost. And it just takes a lot longer to kill. So that's why I'm showing this segment, because I had decent RNG here and we get some pretty quick kills. And this part is really just sitting in here and not moving. If you do kind of poke out too far, then the enemies will see you and then they will lob grenades in here and very likely kill you. What you can do if they do see you is kill the ads that have seen you. If you kill them, then the other ads won't have seen you. Like you can see, I'm kind of getting shot at by one ad, so I might have been spotted by one ad. But yeah, basically, that yellow bar raider is really annoying because he often hides where he's hiding now and is very tough to shoot. But what makes this run really quick is I get him in a decent spot and then I kind of stun lock him with Polaris Lance. So yeah, when you stun the abominations, you want to throw a grenade right where I did. It can be difficult to hit those grenades because this spot has really weird physics and you will often throw the grenade kind of just where you're standing. So like I said, here we're keeping him from getting into cover, which was massive. We're keeping him out here and then we can proc our ignitions. And yeah, we melt him very, very quickly. Again, we have solar boost ×3 to take him down even quicker. And that solar boost does proc, or does scale with your Scorch because you're applying Scorch from the weapon. So that is very cool. So yeah, here I don't have solar boost, so I'm doing about 1,000 less damage per shot on my machine gun. So what you want to do, what I should be doing, is procking that artifact mod. So now I procced it and I have armor charge again because I hit rapid crits with my scout rifle. Now this other abomination pushed in, so now you can see I'm doing 3,300 damage per shot with the machine gun. So that's really all you need to do here, is try to keep your armor charge up by proccing whatever that artifact mod is called. I can't think of it right now. There, I got it again, so I have 30 seconds of armor charge. I do have a time dilation mod on my class item. I would recommend 1. And then we just throw our solar grenade in that spot. I should have been shooting my machine gun there because I'm also proccing monochromatic maestro, which is another thing I'm running. And stupidly, I wasn't running solar orbs, but I would recommend running that. I was just too lazy to switch, I guess. So again, shoot him, and hopefully you can get his arm. And then, yeah, you just deal damage to the arm. And yeah, so you just rinse, repeat like that. If there's enemies off in the distance, you can sometimes hit them with a melee to proc Radiant, but it's very difficult, again, because this cheese spot has kind of some weird physics. So here, we get the melt, and now we're back to progressing the ghost. The only enemies that will slow it down are the unstoppable champions and those high value target raiders. So they roll in at 25% and usually get here about 33%. And then they roll in at 50% and 75%. So again, if you can, we'll see here. I know I get an abomination. Yeah, right there. So here, you want to just stun them in place and try to keep them at bay back there. I kind of do a dumb job here because I stunned him, which actually didn't work in my favor because right when unstoppables spawn, they kind of have a weird animation when they stun. But here we get a nice ignition off, and yeah, now he's back in position where we can see his crit. We can proc rapid fire ranger, we can proc an ignition here. So yeah, this was really good RNG with having an unstoppable come out that door, because now we don't have to do this BS where they're right up on us and we're just doing machine gun shots to the arm. We can just keep shooting them over and over in their spot and actually get the melt before they even get up to the ghost capture point. So that was good RNG. That's why I wanted to show this run. And now we just do what we were doing before. Get a stun off. There I have solar weapon boost ×4 because I have the armor charge, and then I'm proccing monochromatic maestro. So I really screwed up there by not shooting the machine gun while I had that. But anyway, again, get really good RNG on this raider. I'm telling you, sometimes these raiders will just hide constantly. And you basically just have to nade them out or use your incandescent machine gun and take out the ads near them, and it will spread some scorch to them. And because of Dawn Chorus, that scorch actually does decent damage. But yeah, you literally just have to plink away like that. It's very goofy. So here, we get another stun. So that was a really quick section there. You don't often get that lucky. This section requires a lot of patience, which is something I don't really have. But yeah, now we're back to hacking. So the next ad will spawn at 75%. So we're just going to take out some ads in the meantime. And yeah, hopefully proc an armor charge here. Not yet, not yet. Still no armor charge, unfortunately. They have to be precision hits in a row. So I was missing some precision shots there. But here, I finally hit it. Didn't get the unstop in a great spot, unfortunately. Because if I could have had a line of sight on him, we could have did what we did before. But anyways, now he's going to creep over to this spot. And we just have to do the waiting game where we try to see his arm, chuck a grenade every time we have one. I was trying to proc there. I just get it proc. I should have thrown a grenade there because you want to throw a grenade every time you stun when it's up, because then you'll get your cooldown going again. And then here I screw up because I didn't have Solar Surge, but it's okay. We did have Monochromatic Maestro, which is 10%. And yeah, it's just a matter of slowly plinking him away, and once he's dead, then that's all there is to this part. We go from 90 to 100, and like I said, there's lots of ammo on the ground. That is why you always want to pick up that heavy crate when you come into here. I had really good RNG, so I didn't have to rely too much on my machine gun. Again, I was able to kill that abomination just with my scout rifle, the one that procced on the proper door. But yeah, again, with heavy ammo finder and using an exotic primary, you make lots of heavy bricks. So trust, like, look at that. That would have been more than enough heavy. So always pick up that heavy crate when you go in there. Here, just be careful. And then once we get to the spot with the cores, I'll just kind of fast forward to where the champions spawn. This isn't a speed run per se, so you want to play safe. So I always go to the right. I take out the two raiders first, and then I'm just going to pop a super on the Scorn Captain, and then you literally just wait it out. So from there, I'm going to go to a different segment where I had really nice melts of those champions, and then we'll see you in the boss room. But yeah, don't worry about burning your super on these enemies. Definitely do it, because you don't need your super for anything else. So here, I think I try to chuck a grenade first, but don't even bother with that stuff. Your super absolutely chunks. Dawn Chorus also buffs your super. That's why I'm running Dawn Blade over well. But yeah, take them out, and then it's just a waiting game, so I'll pick up with you after we've waited out this 2.5 minute timer. So at about the 30-second mark is when I start making my way up. So here, I'm going to clear all the ads so that they're not a nuisance for me as I take on the champions. So again, a nade, a melee. This will give us extra radiant damage for chewing through these Scorn chieftains real quick. Take out all the ads. It's fine to burn some machine gun ammo here. It's nice to have at the boss room, but it's not totally needed, as we're going to use the cheese spot and just plink away with Polaris Lance. So here you get an Unstoppable and a Barrier Knight. And what you want to do, again, is proc ignitions on that Unstoppable. I get really nice RNG here. And yeah, this is a primary in a Grandmaster dealing this much damage to an Unstoppable champion. Like, that's actually crazy. So then I chuck out a nade because I knew I had done some chip damage to the... Sorry, a melee, because I knew I did chip damage to the knight. And then we use that anti-barrier machine gun to absolutely chew through his shield. I ran back here because I knew I had an ammo brick. So again, always be cognizant of where your ammo bricks are in Grandmasters, and also know how much reserves that your weapon can hold. Because I can hold 396, so if I was at 380, I don't want to pick up a full brick at 380. That's only going to be 16 shots. You want to hold it until you need it, because that's about 100 ammo. So here, we're going to start the boss fight, and you just run to the back and you jump up on this top section, which can be a little tricky sometimes. I almost lose it here. But yeah, you want to get right on the peak, and then you jump over here. The boss can snipe you, so you do want to be quick, and you can always pop a super in your back pocket if you have to. Now I'm going to go to a better first damage phase, so I'll catch up with you there. Alright, so also if you go too far back, you'll get joining allies, so all you have to do is move forward, but just wanted to point that out. So again, this was just a little bit cleaner of a boss phase. I think I get to the second phase in about a minute less time than on my other run, so I figured I'd just show you that. But yeah, this part isn't too bad. Ideally, you want to deal with all the stalkers and raiders. There is kind of like an immunity wall in front of you. You can't shoot through it, and enemies also can't shoot through it. So see there, my melee kind of hit the invisible wall. So be wary of that. But stalker void grenades can still get up here. And I think in the second phase, see like there, it's doing no damage to me. But you'll see in the second phase of the boss fight, I actually do get hit by one and I nearly die. So don't always just trust that that little invisible barrier is going to keep you safe. So what I like to do is some ad management here. I take out a bunch of ads. Speaking of those void grenades, they hurt like a bitch because void threat is on. So I definitely recommend void damage resist. Also concussive dampener, and then I think I have solar resist on too, just because it was harmonic, so it only cost me one. So now we've dealt with some ads, so now we're going to proc the debuff from Rapid Fire Ranger, and now we're doing big damage. Throw out a melee, and then yeah, just keep doing crazy ignition damage. Again, this is a primary and a GM, so I know it's not like huge damage, but those ignitions with solar burn, they're chunking them down pretty good. So this is a super safe and reliable build to use for this GM, because you're not at the mercy of like getting heavy drops or anything like that. You literally just keep proccing ignitions over and over with your primary scout rifle. So here, ideally, I would have killed those raiders, but unfortunately, Scorn are able to just go under the ground and go immune, which is really annoying. So now they're all spread out. Their void snipers also hurt like a bitch, so try to deal with them. This is where having machine gun ammo is nice, because it can just take them out quicker. You can see I took damage from that raider, so again, that invisible wall doesn't cover everything. You'll just have to play around and get used to like the angle. See, like you could see I was landing some shots on the invisible wall there. So here we try to just burn them through, enhance incandescent spreads there, and we get a little ignition. So we deal with those raiders much easier. And now we're just looking for the boss. Sometimes he just, see, I easily could have died there. But that invisible barrier saved me. But yeah, sometimes this boss just moves around like a complete and utter idiot. I guess we are using a cheese spot, so you can't be too upset. But yeah, a lot of this is just a waiting game. Just deal damage to whatever is kind of able to be shot. So here, this guy comes around, so we deal with him. Deal with these guys, and then just keep waiting for the boss to get in a position to where we can damage him. You can also move to that back pillar, but I find it is a little more exposed. I take hits from the Void Scorn grenades more often there, so just be wary. So here, we proc an ignition just as the enemies spawn in, so that is excellent timing. This build has freaking awesome ad clear. It's great. So now this boss has an angle on us, so we're just gonna strafe shoot, but you can also kind of stun lock him there with the ignitions before he can shoot, as long as you're landing all your crits. So that's really nice, but don't necessarily rely on it. It's good to keep strafing. So here I'm late on the ad spawn, which is my bad, because it gives them time to spread out, which is always annoying because it's sort of tough to kill things from here. Not that tough. You obviously don't want to fall off, so just watch your step, obviously. But we take them out pretty quickly, and then we're just back to dealing damage on the boss. So again, this is why you want the triple solar surge, because you can just, you literally just have a huge damage buff all the time. So this was really unfortunate timing. The boss kind of moved, but you can see how much damage the buff Dawn Chorus Dawnblade does. Unfortunately, this boss teleports a lot, and we miss our final blade, which could have taken out some of those enemies. The boss, I believe he does always move in the same order. So if you do pay attention to like his health bar and stuff, you might know when is the perfect time to cast a Dawnblade. But I didn't study the boss fight that much to know exactly when that was. So I just procced Rapid Fire Ranger on him to weaken him, and then I just started going in with my Dawnblade. This is the other nice thing about Polaris Lance. I hate reloading, so the fact that you can just lay on the trigger and pretty much never have to reload as long as you're hitting crits is absolutely amazing. And now we get the boss low on health. So I have a better second phase where I kill these abominations even quicker. So I'm gonna dip to that segment, and I'll see you soon. So just like everything with this fight, this just requires patience and a little bit of luck on the spawn. So here, you actually want to kill those enemies that spawn in first. I didn't do that, as you saw in the last one. So yeah, deal with them, because if you can spawn kill things, it keeps them from spreading out. So that nade took out, I don't know, like 6 or 7 ads, and now we have way less ads to deal with. And then we get a really good unstoppable movement here. You do have to watch those Scorn Chieftains in the back. They shoot their little solar machine guns, and they do kind of hurt, or shotguns or whatever they are. But yeah, I get a really nice unstoppable spawn there, being on that fence and in like with a good line of sight. So that's really lucky, because I've had runs where it takes me like 5 minutes to get down one of these unstoppables from this spot, just because they're just sitting right under me and I have no line of sight. You also may notice I put extended mag on my machine gun by this run. I definitely recommend it, because enhanced field prep gives you super good reload speed anyways, and you go from 44 in the mag at base to 57. So again, here I get an awesome unstoppable spawn. So yeah, we're just gonna melt him down, and just like that, already melted, and in perfect timing, we're having a super, which is just nice to have when you jump down, just in case things go haywire. You get sniped by the boss when you're jumping down, you can pop super for that extra damage resist, whatever. So here we're getting all the Scorn Chieftains finishable, and now I'm just making sure that all the ads are dead. Here's a really bad jump on my part. You actually want to go up and over, not the way I was going. So yeah, I go to the back of the map just to kind of get away from the boss, and I think I'm going to kill a chieftain before I jump down. But here I'm hitting that invisible wall, which is kind of annoying, wasted some shots. So there. We get the ad down, and now it's just the arc dunking phase. So I died on this phase like 3 times to just some absolutely stupid plays. So I was talking about spawn killing. Here's the big thing. Have a nade every time you dunk so that you can do what I just did there. I took out like 5 enemies and got the rest probably pretty weak. I didn't know he was solar shielded, so unfortunately I killed him a little early. But yeah, so we still have another stalker up. Again, make sure you deal with all the ads first. And ideally, like I said, have a grenade for every time you go to dunk, so that you can throw a grenade where they're spawning. So I'm getting a little low on machine gun ammo here, which is a bit of a concern. But yeah, so I shouldn't be wasting it on a totem. But anyway, we're gonna take this guy out. I almost have my grenade, so I know that by the time I dunk it, I will have a grenade. Got a heavy brick, so that was really lucky. And then yeah, just rotate up here when it's safe. I always go to that same spot. I just find it safe. You're not completely, so here I'm a little slow and I was getting hit by that Scorn Captain. So I just popped super. I was like, no way, I'm losing it here. But yeah, I do still like to always rotate this way just because those Scorn Void Nades, they can hit you back here, but you have a little bit more maneuverability in this back corner than you do in the other corners of the room, kind of more toward the front. So that's why I always go there. So now I'm just getting my nade. It was perfect timing. We're just going to leave that arc charge and not push it. Just play safe. You only got to dunk 5. And yeah, you just keep rinse repeating this. Try to spawn kill those guys. And then whatever ones are left, do what I just did there. Just be ready for them to come towards the doorway. Here we have a nade flying in. So I got a healing rift down there. But that was still a little risky. I probably should have just moved it and then put the healing rift down. But again, take out all the ads. Now I'm 3-peeking just to see what ads are left. There's still a couple. Get a little lucky there. But again, you can maneuver. I could have just went to the right there and got away from that nade. Because they throw kind of to where you are. So if you just shift, then you should be okay. But if you go too far, then obviously you're exposed on the other side because there were ads just down below. Just on the other side of our cover there. So we got that raider. We've got a grenade in hand. So now we're just going to kill this guy. I think I might go for a finisher here because he is so low. So we just kind of ick dash up to him. Now this is a little risky because we could get sniped by the boss. And we actually do, yeah. That's the problem with a finisher. So you want to keep moving. So here we have a grenade and a melee, which is really good for spawn killing these guys. I shouldn't have dipped as far back as I did. I should have went to the other stairwell, but I also have fastball on my gloves, so we get a quick grenade out there, spawn kill like 4 or 5 enemies, and again, just deal with the rest, and just literally just lay on the trigger and try to get them down as quickly as possible. Because they will dip under the ground and go immune and all that and kind of get away from you. So again, I 3rd-person peek, see what I'm dealing with, and I think I got all the ads. So here, I'm just trying to save a little machine gun ammo. And nope, there is still 1 ad up. Unfortunately, I don't have a... Oh, and it's just a raider, so they just shoot their sniper. They don't throw the void nades. But I didn't have a healing rift, which I was a little worried about, because you just never know. So anyways, melt down the last guy. So then from here, ideally, I would have like ran around and found some ammo, but I just didn't really care. Just wanted to get the clear. So I dunk. And then again, you run to the back. It's nice to have a super for here, but I did panic pop on that second arc charge dunk. So we get up fine anyways. So here you just want to run until you kind of start losing your momentum, and then you just kind of jump and hit your burst glide or whatever glide that you have on. Go to our safety spot, and then it's literally just a matter of plinking down the boss. So again, it's nice to spawn kill enemies if you can. I proc Radiant so that I can get a little more damage out of my machine gun, but unfortunately, I wasn't blessed with ammo drops on this run. And I don't have shoot to loot because there's a drop right there. But yeah, that will just help you beat this quicker, because as the ads spawn in, you can just spam your machine gun at them. You saw how proccing Incandescent can take them all out. So yeah, now just doing ad management, and then once a bunch of those ads are dead, we're gonna start chipping away on the boss. But the hardest part is pretty much over here. But like I said, still be cognizant of taking damage from those scorn grenades and whatnot, because they can mess you up. So unfortunately, I don't think I procced Rapid Fire Ranger there. I thought I had, but I didn't. But we do get a decent angle to throw our Dawn Chorus, so we actually still do some pretty decent damage there. And again, just start chipping away at the boss. Put down healing rifts whenever too. I have Bomber on my class item, so it gives grenade energy when I put down my class item. But yeah, it's good to be standing in a rift because you just never know. An errant scoring grenade or get sniped by 2 enemies at once or something unlucky, and all this work and you're done. So again, just play extremely safe. This part's quite annoying with the immunity shields. And yeah, just keep chipping away at the boss. You can see his health goes down pretty quick with this setup. And I should be taking out some ads, but I'm not really too focused on them. I'm just more plinking away at the boss and trying to proc ignitions. Oh yeah, and careful when you jump up because you are a little more exposed to enemy fire, as you can see. So here, I'm like, okay, I guess I should take down this guy, because after the arc dunk phase, if you kill them, then they won't respawn. But during the arc phase, obviously they do. So again, we're just doing some ad management. Unfortunately, he's got his immunity totem up. But yeah, this part is quite boring. See, right there, an absolute god nade. If I didn't have Void Resist and Concussive Dampener, I am dead. So, resist mods all the way. So now I'm just questioning, I'm like, which platform should I be standing on? But yeah, so this build is really, really good in high-end content, but in low-tier content, it's honestly overkill. Polaris Lance won't really work because exotic primaries deal 40% more to red bars, so you're never going to proc ignitions off red bars. But in high-end content, like you could see at the start, you can just plink away on those ogres and you can cause a ton of ignitions. So it's really good for that. Skyburner's Oath also pairs pretty well with Dawn Chorus, as does Sunshot, because Sunshot, when you get, as long as there's like lots of little trash ads around, because like Enhance Incandescent, it just spreads a scorch to those enemies. So you can maybe get some ignitions with Sunshot in really like high ad dense activities. But again, this is a build that's pretty much just made for endgame because you need tanky enemies to be able to proc the ignitions in the first place. And if there's ever anti-barrier scout, then Polaris is pretty much like the GOAT for that. I actually prefer it to Unstoppable Scout. But yeah, I really wanted to do a run with this and just show this build off because you never really see anyone running it, but you can see it's extremely strong. I think part of the reason is one of the big benefits of Dawn Chorus is the damage that it gives to Dawnblade, as we'll see right here. But no one uses Dawnblade. Everyone runs Well of Radiance because it's super friggin' strong and you can't blame them. But it's honestly really good. Like you could see that damage was absolutely chunking the boss there. So now the boss has moved. We're getting close. Here I drop a rift and then I feel a little more comfortable peeking on the edge. Just gonna take out some more enemies, use up the rest of our machine gun ammo. Here's where a shoot to loot bow would have been really good. I think the Recanter stasis bow can have it. But because we get 25% more on our kinetics when we match the surge of an activity, I believe the stasis bow will 3-tap a barrier champion, which is not ideal. However, it might have been worth running because like I said, with the machine gun, we just proc Radiant a lot to burn down the Night Shields. So you may not have to rely on the bow a whole bunch for anti-barrier, and shoot to loot would have been really nice here because I could have picked up all these heavy bricks on the ground and just gone to town with my machine gun ammo. So it would have melted the boss quicker, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. We just get him into a good spot, keep shooting our Polaris Lance, and easy peasy, it's done. So yeah, this isn't overly difficult. You just need a lot of patience and ideally some good RNG if you're going for a decently fast run, because like I said, the enemies can often be tough to shoot if you're using those cheese spots. But anyways, I hope this was fun to watch, and I hope you enjoyed the build. Like I said, I'll make a full build guide on it because it's super fun and super strong. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you're still watching, it means a lot. Like and sub if you want to see more Destiny 2 content, and I'll talk to you later. Take care.